which are known for their love of dogs. Pedigrees, mongrels, little or large, it really doesn't matter. Some, of course, would argue that the Chinese have a more sensible relationship with the animal. It doesn't involve running after them with a plastic bag and over restrained humility. But nevertheless, celebrities, royalty, the common man of England love pets. The Queen's got her corgis, Sting has his Irish wolfhounds, and of course Katie Price has Alex Reid. But whether you like animals best at a distance, love them up close, or with a dash of salt and a bit of tomato sauce, this next story will be of interest to you. And it all starts in Hamburg in the 1800s. There was a chief of river police in Hamburg called Mr. Jamrach, and his job involved boarding vessels that were coming into dock and checking that everything was shipshape. Anyway, in the course of these operations, he discovered all these wild animals had been brought from overseas to be traded, and he developed an affinity for the animals firstly, but more importantly, understood that there was tremendous money to be made in selling these animals on. Now, his son, Charles, relocated to the East End and opened up Jamrach's Menagerie on the notorious Ratcliffe Highway, and this shop went on to become the most famous pet shop in the world. It was referenced by Mark Twain, Baden-Powell, H.G. Wells, and is found in Martin Chuzzlewit by Charles Dickens. Now, animal laws in those days were lax to say the least, and you could literally walk into Jamrach's shop and walk out with a lion or a Sumatran rhinoceros for the £300 price tag. Camels were £20, zebras were £100, giraffes were a very reasonable £40. You could get a lion for £100, and selected bears, as it's referenced, between 8 and 16 quid, which must be a bit like a pick and mix. But the fame of this place spread, and people would take orders from Tehran, Constantinople, New York, Paris, Vienna, all over the globe. But of course, as time went on, his work diversified. He started to deal in strange tribal weapons and instruments and exotic shells. One story tells of a Frenchman arriving one day and buying a very rare shell for 6,000 francs before sitting on it in his pocket on the way out and of course losing everything. It seemed you could buy anything at Jamrach's Menagerie on the Ratcliffe Highway, everything except koalas, and for some reason they never survived the voyage. But of course, as his legend spread, it was rumoured that he had a special power over his animals. I suppose a bit like a Dr. Dolittle come Fagin type relationship. But there are many great stories that contributed to the story itself. And one includes a man arriving to buy monkeys, and instead of going home with a monkey, he ended up getting his clothes ripped off by one and having to be escorted home naked in a police blanket down the Ratcliffe Highway. Another story tells of a python escaping in transit, coming from the docks, getting loaded into a boat, disappearing and living in Victoria Park for 2 days, feasting on ducks and rabbits, being sighted only by drunks who no one took seriously until the staff of Jamrach's covertly went there under the cover of night and transported it back to the shop. But the best story of all is still marked to this day by a statue that can be found down near Tobacco Dock in London's East End of a tiger standing over a boy. And the story goes like this. During a routine delivery on the docks, a male Bengal tiger escaped its cage and plodded off down Commercial Street. Now, of course, remember, people had never seen anything like this before, so the boy thought he saw a big cat and walked over to it to give it a stroke on the nose. This tiger didn't know what was going on, knocked the kid out with one swat of his huge paw, and proceeded to carry the kid down the road by the scruff of his neck. Now, Mr. Jamrach saw this because he was there at the dock at the time, and he jumped on the back of this great beast, wrestled with it until he released the child, put the tiger back in the cage, and sent the child safely home. And what of the grateful child and his relieved parents? Well, they turned around and sued Mr. Jamrach for £300. Some tell tales, others rhyme, but I sing songs from the Howling Sea.
If you're wondering what on earth you just witnessed, you've been watching a video from the Songs from the Howling Sea podcast. Each week I release a song and a video about a person or a subject from London's East End. 52 songs in 52 weeks. For more, visit www.songsfromthehowlingsea.com.